Lil Jon is searching for his son. According to a February 3rd missing persons alert from the Milton Police Department in Georgia, the rapper's son, known as DJ Young Slade, whose real name is Nathan Murray Smith, has been reported missing. Prior to his disappearance, authorities say the 27-year-old ran out of his home on foot and does not possess a phone. The alert also notes he may be disoriented and in need of assistance. In a February 4th statement, the Milton Police Department tells E! News that there are no further updates and confirms that Nathan Smith is still missing. Lil Jon and his family also share in a February 4th statement to E! News that the family is asking for privacy at this time. We are also asking for continued prayers for Nathan to come home safe. Thank you. Like his dad, DJ Young Slade showed interest in music at an early age. Back in 2017, Lil Jon, whose real name is Jonathan H. Smith, told Paste magazine, "I remember changing his diapers." And now he's producing his own music in the Clive Davis program at NYU.
The past few days have revealed a familiar and uncomfortable pattern in American media, one that resurfaces every time tragedy strikes, but only becomes visible when you pause long enough to notice what is being ignored. On the surface, the news cycle has been dominated by concern over the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie, the mother of Savannah Guthrie, whose disappearance prompted wall-to-wall coverage across morning shows, national outlets, and social media timelines. The concern is real. A missing elderly woman deserves attention, compassion, and urgency. No one disputes that. But running parallel to that coverage, quietly, almost invisibly, is another missing person case that has not received the same national amplification: the disappearance of Nathan Murray Smith, also known as DJ Young Slade, the 27-year-old son of Lil Jon. And the contrast is impossible to ignore. According to the Milton Police Department in Georgia, Nathan Smith was last seen early Tuesday morning near Baldwin Drive and Mayfield Road. He left his home on foot around 6 a.m. without his phone. Authorities have stated he may be disoriented and could require medical assistance. His family has asked for privacy and prayers while law enforcement continues the search. This is not a rumor. This is not social media speculation. This is an active missing person case involving a young black man, a working DJ and producer, a son, and a human being whose life is just as valuable as anyone else's. Yet the coverage disparity tells a deeper story, one about whose fear becomes communal, whose pain becomes national, and whose disappearance is quietly relegated to local headlines and niche outlets. When Nancy Guthrie went missing, the story immediately broke through the noise. Social media echoed it back, amplifying the narrative with hashtags, prayers, and constant updates. Again, none of this is inherently wrong. But what becomes troubling is how quickly the same urgency disappears when the missing person is young, black, male, and not easily framed as relatable to mainstream audiences. Nathan Smith's disappearance did not lead national broadcasts. It did not interrupt programming. It did not trend across platforms with the same velocity. Instead, it lived primarily on BET, People, The Daily Beast, and local Georgia outlets, spaces that often shoulder the responsibility of covering stories that larger media ecosystems overlook. This is not about pitting tragedies against one another. It's about recognizing a pattern that has existed for decades and continues to shape whose lives are treated as national emergencies and whose are treated as footnotes. There is a well-documented phenomenon known as missing white woman syndrome, a term coined by journalists and scholars to describe the disproportionate attention given to missing white women compared to missing people of color. While the phrase can sound blunt, even inflammatory, the data behind it is not theoretical. Studies consistently show that cases involving white women and girls receive more media coverage, more sustained attention, and more emotional framing than cases involving black men, black women, or indigenous people. Nathan Smith's case fits that pattern uncomfortably well. Despite being the son of a globally recognized artist, despite having a public presence of his own, despite the clear concern expressed by police that he may need assistance, his disappearance has not generated the same national outcry. And that raises an unsettling question. If even the child of a famous black entertainer can disappear without widespread coverage, what does that say about the thousands of unnamed black men who vanish every year with far fewer resources, far less visibility, and far less hope of being found? Lil Jon's fame has not shielded his family from silence. and that silence is telling. What makes this moment particularly painful is the context surrounding Nathan Smith's life. He was not living in the shadow of his father. He was actively carving out his own identity as DJ Young Slade, releasing music, building a career in Atlanta's DJ and production scene, and speaking openly about what it meant to inherit a legacy while still wanting to define himself. In interviews, he talked about respecting his father's accomplishments while intentionally creating his own lane. He understood the weight of the name and the responsibility that came with it. Now that same name is being used as a headline hook, when it's used at all. The Milton Police Department has stated that Nathan left his home without shoes and without a phone. That detail matters. It suggests urgency. It suggests vulnerability. It suggests that this is not simply someone who chose to disappear, but someone who may be experiencing distress. In any other context, these details would spark round-the-clock coverage, psychological experts, panel discussions, and national appeals. Instead, the story is largely absent from the broader conversation. Meanwhile, the media's focus on Nancy Guthrie's disappearance has been exhaustive. Updates are constant. Timelines are reconstructed. Family members are quoted. The emotional stakes are made explicit. Viewers are invited to worry collectively. Again, this concern is valid, but its exclusivity is not. What this moment exposes is not individual bias, but systemic priority. Newsrooms do not operate in a vacuum. Editors make decisions based on perceived audience interest, advertiser comfort, and long-standing assumptions about which stories connect. And too often, those assumptions mirror the same racial hierarchies that exist outside the newsroom. Black pain is normalized. Black disappearance is expected. Black families are presumed to endure quietly. This is not conjecture. It is lived reality. For decades, families of missing black men have begged for cameras, begged for coverage, begged for help amplifying their searches. Too often, they are met with indifference. Too often, they are told their loved one probably ran away, will come back, or was involved in something. The presumption of culpability hangs over black men even in moments of crisis, shaping how their stories are told, or whether they are told at all. Nathan Smith deserves better, not because he is Lil Jon's son, but because he is a person whose life matters. The family has asked for privacy, yes, but privacy does not mean invisibility. It does not mean silence. It does not mean erasure. Coverage can be respectful, factual, and restrained while still being urgent. These things are not mutually exclusive, and this is where the audience plays a role. Media cycles respond to attention. Stories gain traction when they are shared, discussed, and demanded. Silence is not neutral. It is complicit. When viewers only engage with stories that look familiar, that feel safe, that center whiteness as the default victimhood, they reinforce the very systems they claim to oppose. This is not a call to stop caring about Nancy Guthrie. It is a call to expand care beyond the narrow confines media has trained us to accept. Two people can be missing at the same time. Two families can be terrified at the same time. Two lives can matter at the same time. As of now, Nathan Murray Smith is still missing. The Milton Police Department continues to ask for information. His family continues to wait. And somewhere in Georgia, a young man who was building a future remains unaccounted for while the national spotlight shines elsewhere. If this episode accomplishes anything, let it be this: a reminder that attention is a form of power, and withholding it has consequences. The stories we elevate reveal who we believe is worth finding. Nathan Smith is worth finding, and until he is, the silence surrounding his disappearance says far more about us than it ever will about him.